you. Yeah.
I want to ask you about how you perceive your body, how you feel about it. Like,
Um, I feel pretty confident in my body. Like I like my body. I would say I like the way I look. I think like I know I look different than like regular beauty standards. As of like I know I'm bigger, but I don't think it's something that has ever affected my self-confidence or something. Like a little bit, but not never like I've never had issues with that too much. I think it's more I've people like I realize that people have issues with it,
yeah,
but like that people see me that way. That's what bothers me more than
Yeah.
me being the way I am. You know what I mean?
so do you think people look different than you?
Yes,
Yeah?
definitely. I would say maybe even more in Europe because I definitely feel bigger. I come from Canada and America where like there's more people that look like me. I would say, or curvier bodies and stuff like that. And here I definitely feel bigger.
But it's also for like when you go shopping, do you feel that the sizes are also different?
Definitely,
in the stores?
yeah, definitely. That when I feel I'm different, when I felt I'm different growing up, when I started to not fit anymore in stores. Like if I go to like really big chain stores like H&M or H&M or whatever brand, I'm either the biggest size or they don't have my size, and that's always like that's when I realized like. If I go to let's say for example, if I go to a huge department store where they have a whole floor full of like bras and they only have like 2 or 3 models that could fit me, and that's when you realize it's really annoying because it makes you feel like you should like oh if I was thinner then I would be able to have so much more choice.
Yeah. What about visual representations?
Um,
Like
I think I think more and more now because I look up to people that look like me, like I can look on Instagram or like on social media.
that you can relate to.
Yeah, exactly. That I see like, and that I see that for example, like women that everyone thinks they're beautiful that look like me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I see people, and I see that other people also see them as models or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that makes me realize I don't have to look like or to fit in the department store.
Yeah. Do you think social media helped you like to have this more openness?
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure, because I think especially like growing up in high school,
Yeah.
I never felt like I could be the person that someone would be attracted to. Like compared to my friends, like I never felt, not because I thought I was less beautiful, but just because I knew that I was bigger. So it's funny because I knew that I was not ugly, or I never felt ugly,
Yeah.
but I always knew that I was bigger, and that's a filter that some people say, yeah, no. Like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
felt like
yeah,
there was
yeah,
a
yeah.
line. And then after high school, when I started being in different environments, and then with social media, seeing different types of beauty, then
Yeah.
I realized that beauty was not limited and that all kind of people like all different things.
Well, once you grow up, you just kind of get rid of
Yeah, definitely.
negativity, because especially when you're like in adolescence, you have like this kind of more social pressure towards like to mate with someone else. I
Yeah,
guess.
yes.
Like
Yeah,
I
which is
remember,
weird.
like when I was growing up, like all my girlfriends had boyfriends, and I
Yeah.
was like, I don't need one. Even
Yeah.
if if I'm attracted to someone, like yes, that's we can do something together. But I never had this need of having like
Yeah,
a
same.
person next to me.
I feel that. I mean, I was raised like that. Like in my family, it's not a thing that like
Yeah,
you would have, and it's not that I was like against or like
Yeah.
that I would not be allowed, but I just wasn't raised that to think that being in a relationship or chasing
Yeah.
boys or something like that was important. So
What does being female like means to you? Like, how would you define female?
I think for me the definition of being female and like being a woman is definitely something that comes from my role models or my female role models in my family. So for me, being female is all the things that I've learned from my family. So my mom's from Venezuela, and I feel it's very like a matriarchal environment.
Yeah.
And also, I think women in my family have put up with a lot of shit, and they have a lot of strength. So for me, being a female is like the strength that I have and
Yeah.
that I've learned from other females in my life.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, highly linked because a lot of things that my family, women in my family had to put up with was because caused by men or stuff like that. So I've always seen it as strength and loving people and like something linked to family, definitely.
Does it, to be a female, like in body wise, does it mean that you have to have a female body per se, or do you think it everybody that feel that strength inside
Yeah, definitely. I feel
that can be a female?
I think it's way more of character than anything for me.
Yeah.
But then it's I think like physically there's no really need or it doesn't make sense to try to define because anyone
Yeah.
like
Let's say straight that you don't need to have a vagina. to feel
nah,
female.
exactly, definitely not,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Going back to the underwear, lingerie stuff.
Yes.
So how would you feel if there would be a gender neutral section in stores?
Definitely. I mean, for me, as long as it fits my body, like
Yeah.
as like on a technical level,
Yeah.
that's what would be important. But it has happened to me that when I want to shop men's clothing, it doesn't fit me. So like, I think I would like that because for me to have something gender neutral would be that they would make masculine style that would
Yeah.
fit my body.
Yeah.
You know?
What would you like to see for your type, for your body type in stores? What
I
would you
mean-
like if that's some brand would put out?
For sure, just having the sizes would be like
Already
sick.
good.
Yeah, like for example, pants. I hate shopping for pants because I'm the like biggest size and it doesn't fit right. Like it doesn't fit like on the hips and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Even if the size is big, you know, things never feel. It shows that they've been tailored to fit a thin body and then they just make it bigger.
Yeah.
But the body doesn't
They don't
work
like
like that.
Yeah,
They don't adjust the curves or
sense.
stuff like that.
Yeah, last time you were talking also about your bra, that also your bra that you have like
Yeah, that's one thing. Like it's crazy because like I have big boobs, and you would assume that bras would be made for boobs.
yeah.
And then when you have big boobs, you struggle a lot. Like everyone that I know that have like big boobs struggle to find bras that fit, and it's so annoying because they're like, or when they do, they're really really expensive because the mainstream place. Like I could never go to like H&M and buy a bra. That's impossible in my life. You know, I could never ever even think about that. Then you go to stores like Victoria's Secret or whatever, like stores that specialize in underwear, and still you only have a few models that will fit you.
What are like the technicalities that it will help to fit your boobs better? Like if you can explain
Yeah,
a
that's
little bit, like
Yeah.
if it's like this or if it's like the,
it's definitely so. I think it's also the fit. So there's a store that I really like where they sell bras and they measure you, and they really explain the difference between the cup size and the around size because
Yeah.
like some people that are bigger
Yeah.
need a bigger like around size, but the cup
Yeah.
are smaller.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like usually you don't have the right balance in like regular stores.
me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's always annoying because then you either have something that's too loose somewhere,
yeah.
and so that I think that's important. Having a cup that fits nicely, having support, and also not having like something that cuts because like if you have big boobs or like
They weight.
fat boobs or so like they're like softer, so
Yeah.
that then if it cuts or like you have a line or a fold or whatever.
What about sports bra?
Also fucking annoying. Like
Yes?
yes, even because then sports bra are also like they're usually they come in like small, medium, large,
Yeah.
and then you
Wow.
take the biggest size, and then it's like it's gonna be tight at the boobs, but then the straps are not adjustable.
No.
So
that's true.
so it's
That's
still a
true.
problem, but it's also super important because for me like for like a long time I didn't do sports because I didn't have like the right sports bra, and it's really annoying, and you feel super self-conscious already like doing sports.
Yeah.
Looking at me, and I think in sports also when you're like bigger like me, like you've already feel watched in sports because you feel like people like you don't belong there. Like that's something representation. It's never you never show big people doing sports ever. So you already feel like you don't belong in the gym or whatever, or in like a sports team because you're big, and then on top of that, like you feel watched, you know, physically.
Difficulty in your body. Or there's like a moment of the day where you don't feel comfortable with your body, daily wise, or if it happened before.
Yeah, I guess I don't feel comfortable when I'm being watched or catcalled or stuff like that. So that's one moment. But else, yeah, if I'm bloated, like if I feel bigger than, yeah, when I feel fat, like feeling. I think it's really interesting the idea of feeling fat versus being fat, because there's a lot of people that are like thinner or something that can still feel fat. So I think it's
Yes.
interesting that
Yes.
it's
Yes,
a
that's
feeling,
true.
and it's interesting because it's not, you don't actually feel fat, you just don't feel comfortable in your body, which
Yeah.
is, it's really, it shows how like people associate fat with bad, you know. So I feel like, I think the moments where I feel the less comfortable in my body is when I have,
That to me sounds like an issue that really comes from visual representation.
yeah,
Because there's not like you don't see a lot of like curvy models
Yeah.
out there
Yeah.
representing that category. So if you only have that spectrum of bodies that are skinny,
Yeah.
then of course you don't fit in the visual culture. So of course you feel like, yeah, if you don't feel that standard, then
yeah, definitely.
you feel less.
Or things like assuming that a fat body is unhealthy and a thin body is healthy. That's so wrong. Like obviously there's thin people that are completely unhealthy and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
But then we still associate with like being healthy as being thin, and that's
Yeah.
also why we associate big with like unhealthy and bad,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I think when I feel the most uncomfortable with my body is definitely when I feel less self-confidence for whatever reason. Like if I'm stressed, or or someone like rejected me or something like that. When
Yeah.
I'm less confident,
Yeah.
then I feel,
More vulnerable.
yeah,
so
exactly.
towards
And then
yourself.
and that's where I wish, like I look at my body and I wish it was different. But then
Yeah.
some days I have the same body and I like it. You know, it's funny. It shows that it's really more about how you perceive it than the actual body being wrong.
Yeah.
Like the body's
Yeah,
not
totally.
wrong.
You push your mind to see your body and yourself different.
But then it's crazy that we even think of bodies like that, you know? It's all because we think a leg should look like this, a waist should look like this, a butt should look like this.
Yeah.
We were taught that. And
Yeah.
in the end, we only feel that way because we don't feel accepted or we don't
Yeah.
feel confident. But it's so weird that we think of bodies like being like, you know?
Yeah.
And
No,
I mean, we all
agree.
do it, but it shows how like crazy it is.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Et tout, tout,
Bye.